What up? So I was just scrolling through Etsy to prepare for this video on Shaligrams. I was like, I wonder if there's any new Shaligrams. And I thought I'd just hit record as I was sitting there. I know I say that a lot, but that's kind of just how it happens. I mean, I was thinking of making a video, like, I was going to make this video, but I was just looking, like, preparing. But then I was like, I'll just hit record right now. So I'm looking at Shaligrams to talk about. But this is the first time. So I opened this one because, sorry, this item is sold out because this is the one that I purchased that had a great fall, and I talked about in one of my videos or two of my videos, and my camera that I got, the images I took with it of the broken Shaligram. It doesn't look like it's in here. Maybe in here. No. Not in there. Here's some pieces of it. Like, so I don't know if I actually brought the images up to, like, before. So here's the after, and here's the before. So maybe let's just go like this. I probably have these saved, but I'm not. Actually, I don't think I did. That's right, I never actually saved them, but I favorited it and I didn't realize, and I just happened to look in my favorites, and there it was. So cool, we get to see its original state. So this is, let's see, this is it now. In its pieces, but which is okay. Like, it's totally fine. It is what it is. I mean, unless it's not fine, like, energetically for the Shaligram or something. I don't. But you know, I don't know what's going on energetically with these things in some subtle way that may, like, could be there. That maybe I don't understand. And I'm just casually entering into this realm of interacting with them physically that maybe shouldn't have happened. I don't know. Here we are, broken Shaligram, though. I mean, that Shaligrams break, though. I mean, it's really just the web of the cosmos playing out itself. Like, it's everything leads to everything else. So this was really going to break. So here it is. So what I really like about it is we can see inside of it. I really didn't mean to talk about this, but now that I'm realizing we have these photos, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. So let's go through this real quick. Before. So it's got this over here. Like almost forming a chakra here, like this. Like a chakra. But over here, between this lobe, because mind you, these are formed by current flows. And then between, like, this system, basically, and this system having a boundary that they interact across it. Not, like, through, but, like, around. that then leads to an actual chakra type thing going on. Although it's like what's going on over here is part of the whole, it's just also there seems to be, what I'm saying is there this additional element of some kind of like almost treating this over here as a system and this as a system, like chains. Like it maybe like chains might be a good, like even going further inward where there's like a connection. That's actually there in terms of like a chakra type thing happening between them. Okay, besides the point, here's the video. So notice this is why I found this shaligram so exceptional right here. Is this path? This is the top of the stone. So if we go back up here, so around it's that path is here, around this way, and then goes back that way on the top of the stone, seemingly from over here. But then it goes this way, where it starts to go from the top of the ammonite to the outer boundary of the ammonite, wrapping around, twirling. Oh my god, just look at its angles. Them curves, girl. Maybe I am sexually attracted to shaligrams. Someone said that to me. I'm like, I think that's funny, but no, they're just awesome. But I mean, them curves, girl. Okay, pardon me. Let's carry on. We don't know what it's sex. It could be, or what it wants to be called. Pardon me. That was not funny. Maybe. But it goes around that way to a point where it's actually in like this plane. So it goes up, around, and then wraps and starts to go more down along this side to actually be along here. River currents would not do that. So if this is a fossil, why is it eroded in a manner that it goes over top it and then physically wraps around its side? Oops. Let's go through these like this. Over top it and then wraps around its side. Look at these striations of current flows that flowed through here, around this way, and then suddenly it's on the side. Mind you, ammonites in general have like a side, like divot, like that. Like say, I guess this is kind of giving a good angle. It's just smaller, usually. So like, let's see. Like this, it doesn't, it's a little too smooth. A little too smooth to really see it. There it is. Like that. This is just what ammonites do, but sometimes the current flows that are shaping them in eddies that are flowing in the stone and its material, shaping it literally, making it, no, not a fossil, but shaped and formed by highly pressurized current flows of water that contain the materials of the matrix that then was shaped by the current. So like there's this material, just like a material maybe on a substrate or a substrate. I was gonna say substrate, so now I'm trying to think if there's a relationship, because substrate's kind of on, but just like a matrix, a material that can be like like Play-Doh, something malleable and able to be shaped, and then a current flow goes into it and does this. I mean, it's not that like just sitting there and then current flow goes into it. It's under high pressures that then are bringing it together and things. But effectively, a current goes into a material and makes this. And this, and this, well, the same one, but like this, the way this is. Branching out because it's forming eddies inside of the stone that then get bigger, and effectively the currents getting pushed into this material that then go to a region of the stone where the pressures are balanced effectively, and that's where they swirl and form an eddy, and then that eddy starts to physically cut into the pressures at boundaries that then form like a first lobe, a first structure that then starts to really etch out the material. But then it branches off like this, branches off and forms another lobe, and then it moves, literally removes the material from the matrix until the eddy punctures the structure of the rock enough that it's able to stabilize interior exterior pressures, where it's not having like this focus of currents into it as much, where it's because it's like cut through the boundaries enough that exchange is just freely flowing and it's not having to eddy in the location anymore. Okay, so let's go back to this though. This thing. Look at those lines. Oh my god. I gotta save it. Because once we save it, we can zoom in better. 931 to, let's say, probably D, I don't know. Immaculate jewelry. Okay. Also, I made this. I don't know if I talked about it yet. Did I talk about this? This is just a thought I was having of a vortex. Like, what if the flower of life has, like, flow currents of, like, eddies? What if they're eddies? Basically, like, what if the outside is an eddy? Flowing in either direction, really. Like, could it induce... And then I started to think, like, maybe this is kind of like a chakra. Kind of like a chakra. Where, like, maybe it kind of an eddy starts to branch in and do, like, wobbles, does something like this. Just starts to wobble. But that wobble kind of pushes in the boundaries and just effectively, like, eddies tend to form something like this, where then I don't know if like the all of the circles would necessarily eddy like in the same direction in the outer region. So it almost like an outer region, if this were to happen, where current flow, so that like, thinking of it in currents, like if current flow branched inward off of an outer like boundary of an eddy to a point where it actually cycled back like this due to pressures like over around it, let's say. Like would the next one, like if it goes this way, down this way, then maybe it also goes down this way and goes over this way and around this way, but then that's really running into over here. So this is more like friendly with the overall current, like it goes this way down, but then over here it goes with the current, so almost like a dominant direction is happening where it's overall going the same direction as the outer current. But then what happens in a situation like this where it's forming eddies within the eddy, then those eddies go around and then suddenly they're all going the other direction at the center, which then leads to another eddy going in the opposite direction. That's kind of what I was thinking when I made this, like overlaid this. I was like, there's probably something like really like buried deep down in the nuances that really matters, that isn't just like a fun parlor trick or something of like, isn't that cool? Like really like groundbreaking and bring us back to some stable understanding point that allows for us to like move to some other energy level. It's probably buried in the Flower of Life. I've never really seen something with the Flower of Life where I'm just like, okay, dude, whoa. Like, certainly it's fascinating. Same with like a lot of things in that like sacred geometry realm. Like, see my ancient Dwarka Secrets of Mount Gurnar video and all the things around Mount Gurnar. Like, certainly it's a thing that matters. It's just I'm not sure I've heard it described so like with such a degree of understanding where I'm like, I see why it's like important from like a functional society standpoint, where some kind of actual advancement can happen through it, that if we're not in that like equilibrium as a society, we can reemerge to that equilibrium by just remembering what is like encoded in these simple yet fundamental and universal types of things. I mean, then there's the realm of like which ones are like true and which ones are like hypotheses that have become masquerading as like the Flower of Life. Like the Flower of Life has a really like thousands of years ancient history, so it's not masquerading as some kind of ancient thing, but some things are. So like there's a lot of things like that that have like really become like commonly accepted in like I really have never found proof that Tesla said the 369 quote. I've never actually seen evidence that he said that, but it's quoted all the time, and it's like, I mean, it's quoted, not just quoted, but it's quoted like its meaning was true. Like what was said was the truth in essence, was a like everything about it was just true to a degree where it's more true than not like knowing that thing and understanding it. But like there's, did he even say it? So, like, are we sure not just, like, someone attributed it to Tesla and now it's become, like, really ingrained in our, like, collective perception? Anyway, I'm just kind of tangenting. Pardon me. I thought that was cool, though, maybe irrelevant. So it really is like Gears, like a clockwork universe kind of thing. Like, it's classical mechanics, just a matter of observations beyond certain boundaries of things accounted for are essentially too approximated that they begin to fall apart. So if we don't say, wait, we're missing something here. Something's not being accounted for in this classical framework. If we say this framework sucks, let's make a new one. We're not going to get anywhere because classical mechanics is the reality of the situation. It just is. I mean, the problem is we didn't recognize variables that were in certain circumstances, like a cannonball flying through the air, or like orbits of planets, minus Mercury, which is a kind of in like approaching a boundary where, like, as it gets closer to the sun, if there's any approximation, it's going to become more exaggerated of a like exponential issue that, and vice versa, like really far away, where there may be, especially close though, because gravity doesn't, as it's known in classical mechanics, doesn't really account for the the details of gravity, like what gravity is, which is a flow of infinitesimal particles in infinite abundance flowing through the cosmos in every direction and pressing in on everything, where objects block the flow from one another so it doesn't reach them, which then leads to an actual imbalance in the surrounding pressure on those objects, which leads to attraction. So when they get really close, the general, like, point based, like, here's an object, it's a point. Here's another object, it's a point. That's how gravity is written. It doesn't really care about the radius of the objects. It says F equals. Like, wait, what is it again? Oh my god. M1, M2, G, R over R squared. Let's just get it out nice and clean. Equation of gravity. Oh, times. Is it times? No. I'm like, times? Wait, what the fuck? Okay, I did it. It was kind of awkward. I kind of felt on the spot. Anyway, point is, yes, it has radius, but that or r, which is radius, but that radius is not anything about the shape of the object. It is purely the distance of separation of the 2 points, effectively. And so it is an approximation. It's a point-based approximation. It doesn't account for that as systems get really close, the actual capacity of a system to block particles changes. Let me show you what I mean. Somewhere in here. Somewhere down here. Probably here. So here's kind of generally how it is. Some other stuff? Okay, I guess I don't. Okay, here it is. Generally speaking, is because it's a point, it's kind of like this. And if the distance of separation is far, then drawing a line from here to the object is effectively the same as drawing a line actually accounting for the actual boundary of the system. So as this proximity issue happens, then this is not actually being accounted for. So it's blocking more. The problem is it's blocking more. If it only blocked like this, it would be within the approximation. But because it actually has this other mass and this other structure that physically blocks flows that would otherwise not be blocked, as there's whenever we analyze in certain circumstances and don't account for this, we see fluctuation from what's anticipated. And then we say, oh, Newton was wrong. Psst, we got it figured out. Newton was wrong. He's so dumb. Psst, Newton was wrong. Everyone, geniuses are Einstein's, not Newton's, because Newton was fucking wrong. Dudes, do you know the speed of light was calculated in 1676? How the hell did someone do that? Oh yeah, because Newton was right. That's how they did it. They were like, wait a minute. This doesn't match what Newton laws predict. Something is awry. It's not the model, it's our lack of awareness of details such as the speed of light. Oh, we thought that was infinite. Oops. Now we know because Newton's laws. Oh my God. It's just a matter of removing the approximation and being more exact in the understanding and accounting for the details that are not being accounted for, like the double slit experiment where the physical slit is so narrow. It's not like it's a wide opening, it's so narrow that when a particle passes through it, it's like, I feel a little tug. I feel a little tug. I'll go this way. I was going this way. I'll go that way. Thanks, slit wall, for redirecting me. That's the issue. We're like, this slit wall don't matter. It's just there's literally, let's find it. There's an experiment where they had to make this. They used molecules, so not just photons, not just electrons, not just atoms, molecules like polymers, I think. I was like, what's that word again? Oh man, it's been a long time for some things. Where is it? Let's see. It's somewhere in here too. I might have passed it. There it is. There it is. This one. Which is my take on it. But they in the Juffman et al. Paper here. slit, but they say in order to minimize the dispersive van der Waals interaction between the molecules in the grating wall, we reduce the grating thickness to as little as 10 nanometers. This is important for the manipulation of complex molecules, which may exhibit high polarity. I'm like, wait a minute. Did I misinterpret? Is this not even related to the slit? I think I interpreted this as a slit. Now I'm like, wait a minute. Like the having to narrow the slit. With the combination, okay, that's my interpretation. But let's go to their this here. Quantum diffraction fans out the molecular beam in the horizontal direction. Gravity, so something fans out the molecular beam in the horizontal direction, and then gravity sorts the molecular beam by velocity from fast to slow, fast at the top to slow at the bottom. So in order to get an interference pattern, they had to. I do remember this. I did interpret this much correct. I just am a little like, did I really totally misunderstand this one part? It's okay. It's not that material, but this is really what matters, especially the gravity. That it's going so slow. In order to get an interference pattern, they send these molecules through the slits so slow that they literally sort themselves based on their velocity by gravity. So the slower ones fall more by gravity. But then they're slower, so they're near the slit material longer, exposed to its local gravity variation for a more extended period of time, and so they widen. The pattern of the interference pattern actually fans out as it goes, as they're slower. The slower particles have a wider interference pattern than the faster particles. Because they're exposed to the slit and being lensed by gravity, which then produces a distribution that is a wave, that is then interacts with another distribution that is a wave, that then produces an interference pattern. And it's not some crazy mystical thing, it's just classical. That's my point. Just classical. Okay. Where were we? Where were we? Let's go back to this. Back to Shaligrams, which are cosmic also. So everything about all those things. Anything about the universe. Oh my God. There's that thing there. So we can still see the striations going in the direction of this. But like really pronounced here. Not literally, we can't see them as well in other areas. We can really see them here. Like up here, they're not as pronounced. We can just kind of see like generally what looks like maybe this way. Maybe. But this is clear. These are here. And they go around to where they were on the other face. Up, around, up. It's really... This cannot happen in a river. It's not really that complicated, honestly. It can happen according to the description of how it supposedly happened in modern science of fossilization. It could not do this. There would have to be pressures holding some current, coincidentally in a way that made it hug the, not just like a road around, but to hug along this portion while going over top this portion. And seemingly, like, if a current, let's say, somehow, some river currents flowing into this, let's say, and it's like filling here, flowing over here a bit, and fanning out and going over these ways while flowing generally here, and that just leads to erosion here. But then that means we've already established the current is flowing into it this way. So in order for a pressure to hold the backside, for current to flow in this way and a pressure to be over here to allow for current flowing, let's say some larger amount, because it's like getting funneled over here, that allows for just enough additional current to the overall current that just makes it more pronounced here, the etching, which then goes all the way around here and back over to here. Like, it goes to the end. There's this face. We really see like the little concave shape of this band, mind you. Shaligrams come from Damodar Kund. Damodar meaning wrapped around the belly of Krishna. Krishna's name, alternative name meaning wrapped around the belly of Krishna, or like the child Krishna, something like that. Like a cord wrapped around the belly. Damodar meaning, let's just look it up again. Rope around the belly. Rope around the belly. Rope around the belly. All the details. So this hole, there was a hole there. Let's kind of compare again. Sorry if I've kind of strayed randomly. I guess since I don't really have a like objective per se, it's okay. I was gonna talk about shaligrams like the last video and just go through them. I guess we can just start here. Okay, I was doing this slow. Okay, so this I guess that's pretty good. Move this over. So much management. I'm just, dude, get on with it. Just kind of setting it up. Let's see. Looks, I guess the nucleus was there. I don't know. I wonder if it's still there. I don't think it's noticeable on either of them. So that's like up there. So it looks like this. We can kind of see back there. So this material, which is when we see it over here, kind of like black shale, like the black shale, like more so than like the pyrite, but with like bands, thin bands of pyrite forming like the container of the shale almost. Like literally the container. Containers, several chambers, but the point is, under the top where it broke here, there's all this other like almost similar material, like so that's weird because we can't see that without the broken image. That's buried here. And notice these lines. What's up with that? If current flows aren't etching the details, if they're not, then why are there these lines here? Seems to be more in the matrix itself and not actually the ammonite. Just clearly like current flows between something that left like a almost like a waste material that was like shale based, but like kind of fluid and a little different in the way it overall is than just like over here. Then, whoa. Guess that's here. Maybe not. Whoa. I wonder if it's missing some protective layer here that is here. Seems like it is, honestly. I don't see it. Let's check out the video. Totally missing this. Because this is where it broke back there. Like this. Oh. Oh. Shit. Whoa. It's actually... This looks almost... From this angle, it looks almost like it's... like in front of it. Like just in front of this. But the thing is right here. You probably can't see it very well. Is this area. So really it was like this, which means that portion was really facing more like that way. Like almost like perpendicular back. And yet it was like clearly forming this ammonite type thing here. Huh. Mm-hmm. Whoa. Oh my god, it's incredible. Like, if this didn't break, I would never know. Also, Sci-Funkel there, really crazy. The channel through which current flowed in a very specific way due to pressures. Basically like this thing, but much more small scale at a different boundary, though. That was more round, more regularly round, but also at a boundary that then forms an actual conduit. Oh my god, this Shaligram is incredible. Dudes, let's think about this a little bit. Right here, let me... Just thoughts that are occurring to me right now. I gotta pull up this. No, not the... Not the... Oops. Okay, thanks, Jack. There we go. That's probably... I might have a better image of the back. There we go. We can kind of see it wrapping around. So it's really facing like this way. And yet this thing is kind of going this way. It's like a brace. It's like it's bracing it. Running into resistance. Like current flow is running inside the stone. Like going this way. Like, pardon me, guys. I'm just like, man, I have a sexual object here almost. Me and my Shaligrams. Okay, so you can kind of see it's like straight here though. But it bends, like the ammonite shape bends. And yet, like, the ammonite, sorry, the ammonite shell, like the outer part of the shell, would have been, let's get an image of the other side. Here we go, maybe it's not the best image, not the best quality, but essentially this would be inside of the shell. This portion would be inside of the shell. Inside, 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 outside. What a flawless transition. What exactly occurred here? Oh yeah, they're not fossils. That's what happened. The current flows created a brace for the bending. Like a neutron for a proton chamber. Like a backstop to allow for more eddies to stably form within the space of. But where it really looks like, when we look at it, this way, it looks a lot more like a normal, like say, this one, or, there we go, like this. It looks a lot more like this. Like, it could be this kind of thing. But it's really not, and yet it is. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is that, like, it can't be a fossil because the matrix is doing the same damn thing. It just hasn't been quite as formed to become part of an actual ammonite structure. It's just become like a brace that the ammonite bent around. And is one with, like, it separates and is one with. If I can. Oh my god, I'm just like, okay, dudes, enough of with the penis. Enough with the penis. And the jokes. Okay, okay. Couple more jokes are allowed, but that's okay. Pardon the mess, also. My room's a mess. It's always kind of a mess. Just like, it's right here, though, so no one can see it. So it's fine right there. I mean, it's good mess. Shit. Oh my god, this thing. Then that opening, it went across that way, seemingly. And some kind of energetic coupling. Oh, there's some lines up that way, too. Oh my god. It really does the same over here. On this side. Where it has an ammonite structure in a matrix that is separate. Like, oh, separate, and then it stops being separate here. Let's see if we can get an image of the area. I mean, effectively it's here. Like, it stops being separate, like right there, and then it's all just one face. Another erosion path, maybe. Smaller one. It looks more almost chipped, but at a glance it looks chipped. Oh my god. I didn't really notice that. Looks like it might have eroded there. Oh, there's a little hole there too. This is a hole right there. A little hole, some reason. Like, I can't see this at all. Can you guys see this better if I? Probably help if I change the camera size. But I'm kind of looking at that area. It's hard to. It looks kind of. What I'm curious is if there's ribs going like across its actual inner, like it's since it's inward from where the ribs kind of should be in a fossil. There you go, this one. It's so crazy. What? Its shape is like it's got. It's so shape like what in the. It's hard to describe. It's almost got a flat center that then goes inward, like up direction. Like it starts flat and then goes up on both sides and then goes back down on both sides to like a point and then goes up. Like flat, up, down, and then go. Flat, up, down, go. But like way more like a shape. It's like, what is that doing there? That's a little weird. It looks like a secondary current. Now that I read like it. Let's look at this a little more. Like down that way. Maybe going a different direction even. Or maybe not. Maybe just going around a certain part of the rock that almost like divided the current. I don't know what part of the rock would do that necessarily. Okay, so that's an incredible shaligram. It really is. Let's see, I don't know. I haven't looked at this one, so that's what I was saying when I started this video. I was like, it would be cool. I haven't looked at these. I literally just saw the first image. This one, right-clicked it, open, and then didn't even look at the tab. So let's see what's up. I did see it had lines beyond just this. I could tell there was something going on of interest, but I don't know what it looks like. Oh my god. A little turtle shell. Definitely chakra in there. An ammonite chakra. Something going on. That's not the same one, is it? Maybe. I mean, if there's a chakra on one side, the other side really is hard to see any structure at all. It looks like that might be it. Same as this. Just based on these. Okay, so that's that one. It's definitely got some really cool... Like, this is abnormal. Look at how the teeth are going this way. They should be going across here and, like, continuing generally. But instead they go down this way. And then we can see them going down this way. Almost like it was this way. And now it's going this way. Like a new chakra was forming here, and another chakra here that would have formed a lobe over here and turned this into another lobe and not been the chakra. But it seemingly didn't do it fully, but it looks like it really like removed the chakra. There's like nothing in there except some stump. See if we can see inside a little better. Oh, what? Is that the chakras? Oh, they're over there. They're back there. Hard to say if what exactly. Like, it's dividing. It's gotta be two competing eddy shapes that were, like, both, like, somewhat stable and able to form, but overlapping, basically. That were then, like, vibrating between the two, leading to some kind of divide of the stone, and this, like, one this way kind of thing. Something awry. One was dominant enough to, like, have a single chakra system, I guess. It really looks like it was wanting to form another chakra over here, but it might just be from this angle. And what the? Like, why would I do that? Why would something do this? Just generically, what reason except for current flows could do this? And not just some generic current flows that are just like water. Water in the river. The end. The river did it. You're not even gonna, like, try any further than that. You know, it's pretty particular details. What did the river do? Do rivers usually erode into straight lines that cross the erosion path and divide the rock like this? I don't know what reason modern science would, what, like, actual explanation, trace fossils, which is nonsense. Oh, we can't explain what these currents are doing over here. And those look like fossils, so those must be trace fossils. We'll just kind of hand wave them all, take them all, put them into that category, put them on shelf B, cabinet C, back in room 72 in the basement of No One Gives a Fuck. And we'll believe this until someone realizes what has happened. Oops. Yeah, trace fossils, huh? Well, I mean, I can see, like, why someone without an explanation might say that. But really, it's only like a half, like a hand wave explanation. Like, what else could have done it? Well, water currents under high pressure. But I don't want to hear about this flood. He's trying to talk about the flood again. Someone's gonna need to wrap this boy up. He's talking about the flood a little too much. We're trying to have a science discussion, and he keeps bringing up water. This is an earth of earth, not an earth of water. It's not called waterland. It's called earth. Okay? Geology is geology. Don't bring water into the discussion unless it's just rivers casually strolling down the mountains. We don't want to hear about it. Doesn't make any sense to us. We can't envision high pressure, high velocity, high flow rate currents that are just sweeping through the earth, utterly reshaping it, causing it to expand to a new radius, and then receding into new ocean beds, all the while forming shaligrams. How could that be? we'd be wrong about so many things. So this is a trace fossil. It's as simple as that. Next. Next, who had a complaint about this model we got? We don't even care. No. You guys are stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. We're the experts, okay? Whoa. Not just the single ammonite. Ooh, some little, like, pseudo eddy thing going on there. In the surface, kind of like there, but not able to form so pronounced. Possibly some interaction, like some planes of interaction where another eddy was maybe apt to form by the other eddies' current interactions. Looks like there's like something going right that way. Dude. What's up with that? Look at that. It just wraps around, looking kind of like little teeth things, like the boundary. If you don't know why I'm saying what's up with that, kind of like that. Like it could be one of these boundaries. It's just way more subtle, pretty much. But sup with it is my point. Why is it there? If pressed, the interpretation that these are fossils cannot stand. Why is that there? Why is that there? Why is that there? Why is this here? What about this? What happened here? What about this shape? Why is there almost like an amalgamation of shapes? Or like this shape? Or maybe even like this shape? Or like over here, maybe a smaller one. And then over here this way. Damodar, Shaligram. Why is this just subtly etched? Hey, what's going on with this part of the ammonite? You think it's not there? Is that what it is? Oh, it broke. Looks like the structure is pretty sound over here. Here. Oh. A first shape here, and then a second shape here. Like it could have stopped here, but the internal pressures were overwhelming to a point where it broke free from weak points in the pressure. So I guess it looks like the pressure had a kind of like a good downward aspect through the chakras that was kind of like directing it down these ways more so. Rather than it going over and then down, it very much went down relatively early looking, leading almost to like a much larger lobe shape over here. Over, up, some random stuff going on. I should probably stop soon, huh? It's only an hour and something. Okay, okay. Let's see. There are some new ones here. Thought I'd check it out. Let's see if it happenstance there's even new ones since there. That would be cool. I doubt it, but it would be cool. I need to start a museum of Shaligrams. Have them. Okay, I guess it doesn't want to load, so let's just go ahead and see what's up down here. Where were we? Definitely got through this. I don't know how far we were on the top of my head in the last one. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we talked about this one. I think we talked about this one. Like a current flow. Oh yeah, there's that circle thing. Talked about that one. The lump in the top, that kind of doesn't make sense because it has the teeth going right across its body, which like goes over to that boundary. This goes over to there. So this ammonite structure physically somehow has this ammonite structure cutting across it. Doesn't actually make any damn sense. Again, if pressed, fossilization as an interpretation just cannot stand. It's not true. That's not what happened. They are the result of current flows. Unless someone wants to beg to differ, post really exposure to the potential and consideration, except for in like just a knee-jerk reaction kind of way. Like, of course, people are gonna do that. But if someone really has like a better alternative, like, look at this. What? See, whoa, and then all these lines going this way that one would say maybe are just caused by river currents, but then they bend in their flow path across, maybe not this one, but like here, for example, where it's going this way and then it's going this way, this way, this way, maybe even flowing. It's almost like a spot there, like a drainage point over the top. I think we talked about this one too. Talked about this one. Okay, I thought we were really close when I started. I talked about that one. Here's another one with it like forming a much larger lobe. But then it just can't because it has a smaller shaligram structure to do it within, so it just seizes the process. Even here. What's up with that? That looks like chambers. But it's in the matrix around this, the ammonite. Oh, the color in the back is kind of crazy. Right? These like segments. It almost looks like it's showing quadrants of like eddies, like that flower of life thing. Huh. Like, is that what could that unlock? I really haven't thought about it, honestly. I'm like, is that enough? Like, if I extract, like, that's only this thing. If I continue to extrapolate from this, could it really lead to pretty much anything? By thinking in currents? Because I really picture, like, jet streams. Like, if you think about it, like, there's a current going, let's say. There's generally an eddy here, an eddy here, that are forming by just the ripples in this eddy. The overall swirl that's starting to, like, ripple due to, like, buckle, I guess, maybe. Like, it has so much in it that it has to actually bend because of the surrounding pressures that occupy, that force it to, like, do weird things with its structure, that it isn't just swirling just purely as a perfect circle, but it starts to bend enough that leads to things of this nature. But then, like, what I'm getting at is, like, the bend then leads to a current going this way that wraps around, but that's only what I'm drawing. But it also really, like a chakra, it leads to a chakra system that maybe it doesn't just go like this and this. Maybe it also has, like, a in another plane that's like a eddy, like another eddy that's actually in another plane, maybe, like going like this, like going down, back up, like underneath in this general area, though, under this current enough to essentially do something like this also, where it's going the opposite direction down, even though it's, like, dominant, to lead to maybe even a eddy below it going the other direction entirely, that then has the opposite mechanics, but are, like, below it, that maybe is like this one even, and like this one, or something. I don't know. Oops, sorry. Some adjacent ones, though, those are, like, overlapping, or maybe also overlapping. So I drew them as adjacent, but obviously they also overlap. Like, this circle overlaps this circle, or this circle overlaps this circle in different ways. Almost like a narrowing, like a changing of the amount of eddies in a given space can, like, stack in different ways that then create different overlaps that are basically follow this pattern, though, as like a crystalline thing that just currents do, that just repeats iteratively in all circumstances, even as subtle as possible. Maybe. Whereas, I mean, that kind of makes sense to me, that eddies would ultimately lead to everything in a way. Or at least could be, like, present, like, not lead to everything, but, like, participate in leading to everything, where it could be presented that way in a similar way to, like, how gravity could be used, or nothingness, or infinity. Infinity could be presented to literally be the, like, underlying thing, or the balance of nothing and infinity, that merging from the one that really exists as the real true underlying thing. So there's really, like, all these things that simultaneously could be the ultimate truth, which is probably the one one is probably the ultimate truth, that all is one. One is all. We all one. That is probably the ultimate truth. It kind of makes sense to me, more so than anything else. Like nothingness, even. Like that one seems kind of dark. Like assume nothing, and then it is therefore one thing. Like so, it kind of be like it is. It is everything. If you assume nothing, then all you have assumed is nothing. Then nothing is everything. So it becomes equal and opposite to itself just by its like being assumed in a way, or just like being, if it's true. And then that would mean like it is the most fundamental, but like it's dark, nasty in some ways, where one being the most fundamental is also kind of appealing, but it also is like maybe it's not true. Maybe we're not giving credit where credit's due, and nothingness has like a true essence to it. I mean, what are we looking at here if not circles that represent zero? That like zero is like the form that it has is of reason imprinted in society and our consciousness. That is just like one being like emergent from some boundary of resistance, like two currents flowing into each other, like nothing and everything, or nothing and nothing. These equal opposites where it's both nothing and everything that then interact in a way where they're like currents flow into one another that then lead to a boundary, one. So like one emerges from nothing and from everything, which is maybe nothing, so really from nothing. So like this binary thing is going on where it's unclear what is exactly true, but it probably is both in layers and like a chicken and the egg kind of thing. Like it's neither and both. Which came first? Neither. They were both simultaneously coexistent because all it is, was, and ever will be. Is, was, and ever will be. So it's just chicken and the egg thing. 0, 1, male, female, male. Female being the more of the 0, 1 being more of the masculine. You know, those shaligrams. I really, guys, I gotta go. Me and the shaligrams are gonna have a little fun tonight. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Do I end that like that? I don't even know. I was thinking about it. As you'll probably see, this video might be going on. It is kind of late. Maybe I should go. There's probably something really, like, if I barely thought about this, there's probably a lot to glean from this. It's almost like a untapped potentials that are just like possibly low-hanging fruit, at least in my understanding. Maybe people have looked at, I don't know if anyone has presented an interpretation of the flower of life with like an actual current flows kind of an aspects of specifically eddies, which would be then like obviously in the current flows. Flower of life, current flows, eddies. Loop current, spin-off eddies. Let's see, flower of life. I know this is just Google search, but you know. Like, is this, what does Drune below Melchizedek say? Drune below Melchizedek, flower of life. Description, maybe. Geometric pattern that represents fundamental forms of space and time. See the difference, though, if we actually interpret it with current flows? It's like, there's the form. It's just literally following, connect the dots. Following the current flows. I do have this book. I might have to do a video on the Flower of Life in a bit, more directly. Look into it and then do kind of like a follow-up. Do some research, what people are saying on the topic, see really the full spectrum that I can find of interpretations. See if anyone's said anything about currents or flow paths. The flower. Flower. The flower. It's not the flower, it's the flower of life. Come on, guys. Sure, it looks like a flower. It's the flower. It's the flower. It is what flows, causes the flows in other flows. The flower. I'd have to see what the book says. Let's see. Drune below. Drune below. It's kind of, maybe we can peek into the book. Look inside. Oops. Edited transcript of Flower of Life workshop presented live to Mother Earth, 1985 to 1994. Year I was born. Cool. Cool. Okay, you guys can definitely read the book if you'd like them, and there's several. I think this is one of like 3. I've only read the first one and I barely remember its deep contents very much. It's possible there's mention. Interesting, there's musical scales and so on. Some of the stuff Terrence Howard was mentioning. I think he mentioned Melchizedek. I'm gonna have to look though. Spirals in space. So maybe there's something I should be finding in this. I'll do some looking into stuff and get back to you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys have a good night. I'll be up a little bit. I don't know. You guys do what you gonna do. I'll do what I just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Shoot.